so are the array of people who experience them. Throughout this book, I will use woman or women to describe people who have experienced a miscarriage, stillbirth, infant loss, or infertility. This isn't because these losses only happen to cisgender women. One's gender does not dictate what reproductive outcomes one does or does not experience. Rather, as someone who identifies as a cis woman and as a psychologist who predominantly treats cis women, my use of woman is simply a way to remain true to my experience and those of my patients. It does not in any way erase the experience of trans, non-binary, genderqueer, and two-spirit people who, in addition to shouldering what can be a profound, long-lasting grief associated with pregnancy and infant loss, often have to endure discrimination within the medical community and elsewhere, the erasure of their gender identity, and exclusion from lost communities. Miscarriage, pregnancy, and infant loss is not just a woman's experience. It does not discriminate. There is also no one way to feel about these specific losses. So while this book does primarily center around the grief and mourning that can and does reside in the wake of a miscarriage, I want to acknowledge and make space for the people who feel indifferent toward their pregnancy losses, or even relieved. Far too often, those who do not experience sadness or anger following a miscarriage, be it privately or publicly, are made to feel defective by a society that has long since demanded female bodies not only procreate, but express a deep innate desire to do so. But there is nothing broken about those who feel thankful for no longer being pregnant, just like there was nothing broken about those who wanted to carry a pregnancy to term, but couldn't. In this book, all are welcome. And I also want to acknowledge that my experience represents just that, my experience. Unlike far too many Black and brown women in this country, I do not face a higher rate of maternal mortality. In the throes of my loss, I did not face the fear of being unable to access the care I needed. I have, based on the color of my skin, benefited from white privilege. And while this privilege does not shield any of us from tragedy, including the loss of a pregnancy, it does protect us from the compounding tragedies incurred by systemic racism. It certainly protected me. It is my desire to cultivate a space where we can all share our stories if and when we want and need to, a space where they can be honored in whatever way we see fit, a space of understanding, support, and continued healing. So as we wade through this transformational time in our lives, I encourage us to remember that we are all deserving of support. Free from grief hierarchies or timelines, we must be gentle with ourselves during this nascent period and resist comparing and contrasting our stories. Your ache, relief, despair, or indifference is uniquely yours. It is yours to navigate in any way you choose through whatever feelings arise, be they sadness, anger, hopefulness, neutrality, helplessness, fear, or a mix of them all. Throughout, I earnestly urge you to remember that you did absolutely nothing wrong. Nothing to deserve this procreative event. Certain areas of our lives are beyond our control, and reproduction is one of them. It can be difficult to wrap our heads around this reality, to come to terms with the fact that we have no answers, or that the concrete answers we do get might confound us all the more. And so sometimes we blame ourselves in the absence of clarity, as we search for something to pinpoint, an anchor to keep us grounded as we weather the barrage of emotional responses. We look for reasons when, more often than not, there are none. Resist hurling blame.